Now, as many of you guys will know, I've started using a pretty basic home Formula One simulator to do a lot of my videos. I do all my track guides using them, but I also just have a load of fun learning them, trying to get used to it, trying to learn the tracks, and trying to play around with some of the engineering settings just to see how they kind of correlate to real life. So loads of uses for it, but most of all, I enjoy it. I'm having a great time. And because it's featured in some of my videos, the guys at Fanatec here have very kindly sent me a massive set of packages, and I promise you, I mean, this stuff doesn't happen to me very often, so I am so excited. The last time I got this excited was when Porsche got in touch out of the blue after watching some of my videos and said, do you want to borrow the brand new Porsche Taycan for a day? I mean, that was a dream come true. So this stuff does not happen to me, which is why I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat. And this happened, it turned up the other day, but because I wanted to film it, make a video, it's been sat inside my house. Frustratingly, looking at it, it's like having your Christmas presents but not being able to open them. It's happening now. Now, the steering wheel that I use is pretty basic. I've loved it. I've loved every second of using it, but I can already feel by the weight of this thing, we have stepped it up a level. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is obviously the bit I'm most excited about, the steering wheel. Oh wow. Oh my god. Holy sh... Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, feel those. That's unreal. I mean, honestly, the last time I've seen anything like that was on an actual Formula One car. The engineering behind that is a thing of beauty. Quick release as well. Oh my goodness, that looks and feels just like a real Formula One steering wheel. The attention to detail, I'm blown away by that. I didn't even know these things existed, genuinely. That is unreal. I can't believe the detail. Thank you so much, Fanatec. Wow. Another set of paddles, or an alternative set of paddles for the back. I cannot believe just how good that it is. So heavy. And the feel, oh, the feel of those paddles. Clutch paddle as well. Thumb wheels on there as well. Buttons for, I mean, you can spend days assigning all of these buttons and switches. But that is as close to an actual genuine Formula One steering wheel as I've seen since holding a genuine Formula One steering wheel. Amazing. Wow. Well, the next thing is to go and get it set up, which won't be the work of a moment. I want to do it properly. So stand by and I will show you that bit soon. Can't believe that. So much as I cannot wait to get my hands on that brand new gear, the first part of the process is to do some baseline laps with the existing kit here. So I'm going to do a run of around about 10 laps, just looking for around 5 laps of consistent, or more or less consistent lap times, and then at the end we'll go for a hot lap, see what lap times we get out of it, and then we'll repeat the process with the new gear. Well, there we go. Because the Russian Grand Prix is coming up this weekend, I decided to use the Sochi Autodrome as the track for this particular test, which I know is not the most exciting track in the world, but that's not the point of this video, and it just gives me a little bit of advanced practice ahead of the weekend. But one of my issues in doing this kind of thing has always been struggling for consistency. Partly, I think, because I'm always struggling to back off a little bit, and I'm always wanting to push to the absolute limit on every single lap, on every single corner, to go for the best lap time. Where actually, in this particular test, what I've tried to do is just back off a little bit, brake a couple of meters earlier, be a little bit more gentle when I'm applying the throttle, that kind of thing, just so that I can try and look for consistency over lap time. Here it is, here's the lap times. Certainly nothing blisteringly quick at this point, and that wasn't the point of the test. It's not even that consistent, but we're talking about mid to low 36s around this circuit, which relatively consistent, for me at least, relatively consistent. And then at the end, I banged in a 1:35.7 as a bit of a hot lap. Now, sim racers out there, don't laugh. I know that that is nowhere near world record beating pace, but the point of this test is to try and compare what this kit feels like compared to the new kit and how it might affect my driving. Now, I'm certainly not going to blame this kit for that that lap time and that lack of pace, or that lack of inconsistency. I wouldn't be that blunt to do that. Well, unless of course when I put the new stuff on, I suddenly go 2 seconds a lap quicker, then I absolutely will blame the kit. But I don't think that's going to happen. The point that I want to make is that, you know, this is a fairly basic setup and there must be some limitations to it. I don't yet know what they are because I haven't really used on a regular basis anything that's much better than that. But of course, that's what I'm hoping I'm now going to find. So whether it will transform the lap time or just transform the experience, I don't know. But I'm about to find out, and therefore, so are you. Okay, so actually that was relatively straightforward to install and set up. Everything fits in standard positions onto the play seat, so the holes in the play seat are already pre-drilled to match this kit. So there's nothing in terms of drilling new holes. It does come with templates in case you don't have a play seat. If you've got a separate rig, there's templates for fixing all this stuff to make it super easy. But I didn't need any of that. It was literally a case of putting the nuts and bolts through that come with it, using the tools that are supplied. Really easy, really straightforward and trouble-free. So I'm pleased about that part of things. I have Googled some very basic settings from the internet. I've been through the wheel in setup mode, setting things like the force feedback settings, the damper settings. There's all sorts of things that you can configure, and I will spend more time going through that. But for now, I just want a baseline setup. The setup of the car, of course, in the game, I'm leaving exactly the same. So in terms of the actual race car setup, that's not changing. The track's the same, the conditions are the same, everything else. The pedals, I have gone with the mid-range in terms of, because I've got a load cell pedal on this, which I'm really excited to see what the difference is with that. The load cell pedal comes with a set of different rubbers on the back of it to give you different amounts of load capability. So how hard you want to be able to press that pedal. And of course you can then configure how that translates into brake pressure through the game itself. But in terms of the mechanical setup, there are various options on that side of things as well. So I've been through all of that in the most basic terms. Now I guess is the really, really fun bit, because now I'm going to go and try it out on the circuit. I'm going to do a few laps, just fine-tuning the setup of things like the force feedback so that I know that it's comfortable, it feels good, it feels right. I am slightly concerned that if this particular thing has so much force, it starts to really wrench and put huge load through this. I wonder whether the flexibility of this rig might be a little bit too fragile. We'll see. I hope not, but we'll give it a go. Anyway, I just want to get on with it, so I'm going to give it a go, do some laps, and we'll go through the same test that we did earlier on with the old kit, see if it makes any difference or not, see if it transforms me into a superstar sim racer. This is unbelievable. I mean, what a transformation. It's a total game changer. I mean, I'll show you the lap times that I achieved in a moment. I mean, I think I said earlier in this video, if this kit transforms my lap times by 2 seconds a lap, I will absolutely blame my old laps on the old kit. I've shaved 2 seconds off my lap time. Now, I'm not going to be bold enough to say that, look, that's all down to this kit, because it 100% isn't. You know, I reckon I must have done probably 30 laps, maybe more than that, in just going through the basic setup to get this thing configured to make sure the force feedback settings and everything else are how I want them, how I like them. But then I've gone into a run of laps, trying to look for consistency, just like we did before. Have a look, here they are. Look at that, 34.3, 34.7, 34.7, 34.2, 34.3, and then a 33.6. A 33.6 for me is a blisteringly quick lap. I mean, I'm happy with that. And if I'm really honest, there's still a little bit more left in the first sector that I can improve on. But either way, that's a quick lap time. So a huge amount of that lap time improvement has come from just me doing laps after laps after laps, getting in practice essentially, fine-tuning my braking points and driving lines. A massive chunk of that has come from this. But what's 100% changed because of this kit is the experience, first of all, because it's just brilliant. It's a full-on workout. The force feedback is so strong and powerful that my arms are aching after doing that many laps. But the consistency has transformed, and some of that will still be down to practice, but a huge chunk of it is because of the feedback that you get as a driver through this kit, through the steering wheel, through your hands and arms, and then fed into your brain for you to then react upon to control your inputs that can change what happens with the car. That's happening in a much smoother way, in a much faster way. I think I said before that there's this issue with the old kit with a geared system where you can find yourself in between teeth going down a straight and the vehicle can wander. In exactly the same way, you have a delay between teeth when you're going round a corner, for example, and you're on the brink of traction. Well, this is belt driven. It's much smoother than that. And one of the things that's jumped out at me is when you start to break traction, if you get a snap of oversteer, you're able to correct it with this, and quite often you can catch it. That may not give you the fastest lap time, but in a race situation, that could be crucial to getting to the end of a Grand Prix. So that information that's being fed back to you gives you so much more feel, so much more accuracy about the minute inputs that you as a driver can put in to translate into what happens to the vehicle. So amazing, amazing difference. And ultimately all of that, of course, can lead on to quicker, faster lap times, because the data you're getting is much greater than the data that I was getting previously with the old kit. The data that's coming from the game through the system and being fed into my mind is more at a higher frequency, it is a more accurate level, and therefore I can react to that, as I say, in a much better, more accurate, higher frequency fashion. So it's a game changer, honestly. I cannot quite believe just how different this feels. It feels no longer like you're driving a toy, a game. It feels like you're driving in a genuine, actual sim, which I guess is exactly what they're trying to achieve. It's a much more immersive experience. It feels like you're in as close to being in a real simulator as you can find, I guess, with this setup. The big question, I suppose, is it worth it? Is this going to transform you into a better sim racer? And the answer to that, I guess, is slightly open-ended. But the real answer to that is, yes, it has the potential to give you the opportunity to be a better sim racer because of that feedback, because of those data points that you're receiving that you wouldn't necessarily be receiving with a lesser, cheaper, different spec of kit. So, I mean, I'm impressed so far with my lap times, but most of all with just the experience, and I cannot wait to develop this further, to fine-tune the setup of this, to go through my experience in the game, learning more and more and getting better and better, and then hopefully at some point putting it into a competition environment here on the sim, which I haven't really done yet. So I'm looking forward to that. This has taken a giant step up. I guess the next thing for me would be this, the flexibility of my rig. Has so much flex, both on the pedal. Oh, the pedals, I forgot to say, the pedals, the load cell pedal, also transformational. You know, going into a corner, how you can trail off the brake pressure going in towards the apex, and how you can balance the car on the edge of breaking traction. You know, you couldn't do that before because the setup previously was more like an on-off switch. Well, now we've got so much more scope to play with, so much more accuracy in the way that you as a driver can operate that. The inputs you can put in are so much more variable, just like the real thing. So Fanatec, thank you so much. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this. I'm looking forward even more than I did already to learning this more, to using it more. You'll see it featuring in lots of my videos coming up very soon with the preview to the Russian Grand Prix, for which now I've had a decent amount of practice. See you soon.